Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are gonna be decorating our classic happy planner using some beautiful specialty cardstock from Mambi along with the happy planner box sponge, so let's get into it. But first, let's flip through the papers that we are gonna be using today. Again, it is from me and my big ideas from Mambi, and it is a specialty cardstock, which means that it is pretty thick and it has some papers with glitter, some papers with foil, some others with just a really nice glaze like this one, which also has the white background, so you can totally use your distress inks on it to add color to the background without getting it to disrupt the design. And all these papers are 8 by 8 inches, so they are bigger than the 6 by 6 paper pads, but they are not too big either, so they have a lot of smaller designs, just perfect for your planner. And I have had this paper pad for years now, so I am not really sure if you can still find it. I got it as a present when I was living back in Puerto Rico, but always keep in mind that you can follow the same ideas with absolutely any papers and any patterns. And like I said before, it is from Mambi, from me and my big ideas, which is the same company as the Happy Planner. And I got this paper pad much before I started planning, so when I first started with my Happy Planner and I finally realized they were from the same company, I thought it was pretty cool that I already had a paper pad from them, and I had used it before to decorate my planner, like to create dashboards and whatnot, but I had never used it to decorate a spread, so I totally had to do that this year. And as you might imagine, all of my supplies, cardstock, washi tape and stickers, even stencils and stamps are gonna be from the Happy Planner from Mambi. As I usually do with my pattern paper spreads, I am just punching out some full boxes out of the pattern papers. And I am punching out more than I will end up using, but that is okay because I always save those pieces for a future spread. And of course, I am making sure to punch out my favorite patterns, including some with the blues and pinks and also greens, because this is gonna be a summery spread, so I want to make sure it looks pretty summery. And speaking of the setup that I did before with these papers, I will make sure to link the video with the flip through of that setup at the end of this video. And it was, I think, in my micro happy notes. So I think it turned out pretty cute. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. And also make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't. And give me a thumbs up if you want to support my videos and my channel. It always helps me a lot, so I very much appreciate it. And back to my spread, I decided to cut a strip of this beautiful pattern paper with my paper trimmer, because it is 8 by 8, so it is long enough to cover up pretty much the entire sidebar, and it has so many different patterns in one single paper, including some beautiful glitter, so I didn't feel like my sidebar was gonna need anything else with that paper in there. And of course I was gonna be able to pull into the sidebar many of the different colors from the spread. And then I decided to add washi tape to all of the lines in my planner pages. I am not sure I made the best choice with my washi tapes in this spread. You will see that I ended up changing one of them, but even then I am not sure this was the best match. Anyhow, this is what I did and that's how it stayed. And now I will just position all of my punched out full boxes from the papers, and I will also decide which ones do I want and which ones will I save for later. Of course, all of the papers are so beautiful that it was a tough decision, but I finally settled on a few of them. And as usual, I am gonna be using one box each day, and I will be layering some of them as well as offsetting some of the boxes, but not all of them because I always put within the lines some of the boxes. I feel like that way I do not take up so much space from the other days. And once I have decided on an arrangement, I go ahead with my roll of adhesive and I use it to tape down into my planner pages all of my boxes, including that sidebar long box. And you can find this adhesive that I use in my Amazon storefront, in my Amazon favorites, but you can use absolutely any adhesive that you prefer or that you already have on hand. You do not have to go out to buy anything new, but if you like trying new things, this is a really nice one you can give a try. And then I did exactly the same thing with all of the boxes to place them down into my planner pages. Now I decided to try something a little different, for which I punched out a couple more of boxes, and once I had them punched out, I went ahead and I just ripped them in half. And even though I liked how it turned out, I thought it was something kind of fun to try out and whatnot. Still, I wasn't super happy with that grid paper, so I ended up doing exactly the same thing with a different one of the pattern papers, and of course I taped them down to my planner pages. Then I wanted to do like a small wash of color, almost like if it was watercolor, but I am not gonna add water to my planner pages. So what I did was to use my Tombow markers, including a pink one and the clear blender one. And I did it just like you can see on the screen right now. Just be aware that if you get the paper too wet, even if it is just with a marker, it can bleed through your page. So you have to be a little careful with that to do not add too much ink to the same spot. And then with the pink marker, I went ahead and added some of that ink to the stamp, and I stamped it on top of that wash of color. But you should wait until that color in your planner page is already dry, because if you add more ink on top of it, it might bleed and it might look a little like smeared, which is what happened to me in the triangles that I will be stenciling now. Again, I started with the wash of color and then I stenciled some triangles using the fine tip of my pink Tombow marker. And like I just mentioned, they kinda bled, so I didn't love how they look, for which you will see that I ended up using some stickers on top of them just to cover them up, or at least the triangle part. And then I tried creating some chevron arrows, and for that I also used this same Happy Planner stencil, but again I didn't love them, so you will see that at the end I ended up covering them up with something else. And here you can see the triangle stickers that I ended up using, which actually matched perfectly the pinks that I was using with the Tombow, so that worked just fine. And now this is my favorite way of using those stencils. Instead of just stenciling straight into my planner pages, I like stenciling in the back of a pattern paper or even on some washi tape or any kind of sticker paper, and then fussy cutting the shapes with my scissors and using them as bullet stickers. In this case, I traced the arrows and then I placed the adhesive on top of it, and I removed the backing paper of the adhesive, and that way I can see the pencil lines. Then I cut around them with my scissors using short and straight cuts, which is really easy and fast. And at this point I thought I was pretty much finished, but I felt it was a little too plain and it was missing something. So I decided to bring in the Colorful Boxes sticker book from the Happy Planner, more specifically the silver boxes, because I realized I had not even used them yet, and I thought they would look really pretty with this cool toned spread, and I ended up using 2 different sizes of those labels. At this point, I also decided to cover up those chevron arrows that I had added before, because again, I wasn't very convinced about them, but for that, I just used some more pattern paper. I used my 3/4 of an inch circle punch from EK Success, which is also in my Amazon storefront, my Amazon favorites, and the link is in the description of my videos. And I covered up all of those chevron arrows, and I liked that a lot more. But because I already knew that I wanted to cut in the circles so that they looked like coming from the boxes in my planner pages, I simply punched the circles right on the edge of the papers. That way I didn't have to cut them afterwards with my scissors, and I didn't have to waste pattern paper either. Once I decided the pieces of paper that I wanted in there, I went ahead and I sticked them down with my adhesive. And this is my spread all finished. I hope you like it as much as I do. Please give me a thumbs up if you are still around. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, take care and stay safe. Bye!